Max Verstappen will lead a Red Bull 1-2 off the line in the season opening Bahrain Grand Prix after world champions fends off a feisty challenging pack and pulsating and closely fought qualifying session. A much improved Ferrari topped both the opening segments in the shootout, with Mercedes and Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso also in the mix, but Verstappen stomped his authority by roaring clear in Q3. He posted the fastest time under the lights with an attempt ahead of Charles Leclerc and then improved again to a 1:29.708, while Leclerc and Ferrari opted not to hit the track again to save tyres for Sunday's race. I think we're in a fight for pole, which was a good surprise to be honest, said the Ferrari man. I don't know if it would have been enough for pole, but it would have been close. His early exit from the car left the door open for Sergio Perez to outpace the Monegasque to lock out the front row for Red Bull, while Ferrari's last hope Carlos Sainz could only manage fourth. Alonso, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton were also missing from the final stage of qualifying after burning through their tyres earlier in qualifying and had to settle for 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. They were all over half a second off Verstappen's pole in the end, and the returning Lance Stroll for Aston Martin finished 8th, while not replicating their fastest time in 2 practice sessions, having ignited a genuine 4-car fight at F1's top positions, which is amazing to see. But the final result from qualifying may have been what was expected to many, but the journey for the season opening 1-2 wasn't an easy ride for Red Bull. They've been struggling with their balance heading into the session, and no Alonso was expected to be ready to pounce off the back of topping back-to-back practice sessions. It was Ferrari who were on top immediately. The Scuderia, who have been quiet at testing and in practice, turned up their engines and set the pace in Q1 and Q2 through Sainz and Leclerc. In Q1, Verstappen and Perez were 7th and 10th, while in Q2 Mercedes looked to be in the hunt for pole 2. But Verstappen, who had hinted at immense speed with his single run in Q2, then unleashed more pace in the final shootout to go fastest, albeit with Leclerc purple through the middle sector 10th back. It was a Red Bull Ferrari battle, just as we saw last season in the closing stage of Mercedes and Aston Martin having used up most of their soft tyres just to make it to Q3, but Ferrari then pulled their lead driver out of this stage. Leclerc, despite feeling he could have bettered for pole, and Ferrari deciding to abandon the final lap in favour of having more tyres for Sunday's race. Perez then capitalised the other Red Bull, and now their rivals will hope their strategy decisions paid off. Rounding off the Tech tenants here were Esteban Ocon in the Alpine and Hulkenberg in the Haas, who both made it through to Q3, while new teammates Pierre Gasly and K-Mag were out in Q1. McLaren had dropped back from the upper midfield, although Lando Norris did still impress in 11th, particularly after creeping out Q1 with an identical time to the eliminated Williams rookie Logan Sargent. His new teammate, another rookie in Oscar Piastri, was another Q1 casualty. But yeah, before I go, let me run you through the final timings from the session. Max Verstappen coming out on top. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit more difficult for Red Bull, but it still was like, when they turn it up, they do have a bit of a pace advantage. But I think Perez and second kind of proves that. But yeah, fair play to Red Bull. They've done a great job. For Ferrari, I think they've done well to get ahead of Aston Martin. Was looking a bit iffy. They also didn't really show their hands. But yeah, race pace tomorrow is going to be interesting, because I've heard rumours that maybe that's not looking quite as good. And then you got the team Mercedes. It was frustrating, but you know, from where they were yesterday on the second day of testing as well, I do think there are some glimmers of potential there. So they'll be pleased with that. Lance Stroll to get 8th. That's a good job from him. Probably where he would have qualified anyway, even if he did have a full wrist. So yeah, good job from him. Ocon 9th, maximising kind of the midfield. So impressive job from him, especially with Gasly having a stinker. And Hulkenberg, what a performance from him. Q3, Magnussen out in 17th. Yeah, that is so strong from him. You got to praise him highly for that. Norris in 11th. I think, yeah, when you look where Piastri is, he definitely outperformed that car. So, yeah, credit to him. And then you got the Alfa Romeos. I think it's a bit disappointing, because I do think they targeted Q3. So, yeah, maybe not to get it will be frustrating, but I think they can still win some good points from there if the car is indeed competitive. Then you got Tsunoda in 14th. Yeah, good day for him, really. Comfortably outperformed De Vries, so that will give him some confidence. Kind of outperform the car. Albon and Sargent, good to see they're so evenly matched. Sargent so unlucky not to get through to Q2, but Williams, yeah, definitely displays some potential, and Sargent putting in a good display, so I'll give him some confidence. Magnussen, really disappointing showing from him. I don't know where it went wrong from him, but yeah, just I think probably a result of condensed grid so far this season, and just not everything going well. Piastri still finding time to bed in, but you know, I've seen enough throughout the weekend in practice that he will be there or thereabouts. Gasly having a bit of a stinker with the field so close, can't really afford that now, and that's a really poor start to his Alpine career, but hopefully he can bounce back. I'm sure he will. And De Vries in 19th, yeah, he just hasn't had the pace all weekend really, so hopefully it's just kind of settling into the team, getting used to stuff. But yeah, pace has been a bit worrying for Nick's side this weekend. We've seen how good he can be in other categories, so yeah, I've got faith that he will be able to turn it around. But anyway, guys, that's it video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, those kind of stuff. If you want to see F1 news and cars and channels, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.